let's just get to the root of the issue. The root of the issue, I promise you, is not actually that you're losing your hair. That's not the root of the issue. The root is temptation. Oh yeah, I'm presenting to you today a theory in which temptation is the actual problem. I'm presenting a theory in which every day, every minute of every day, every morning when you wake up, every night before you go to bed, you're being tempted by either weakness or by strength. That's right, that's what I'm presenting to you today. As long as you are experiencing hair loss, it is something that can consume you if you let it. Those thoughts are the problem. That anxiety, that fear is the problem. The problem is not that you're losing your hair. The actual psychological issue here is all the ways that you will allow your life to be limited by the thoughts that breed inside of your head, which appears to be getting bigger if you're like me. That's the actual issue. Here's what I want to submit to you. That when we allow ourselves to be tempted by a mentality of weakness, being enticed by that, then we're drawn away, then that weak mindset is conceived. It gives birth to anxiety, which when it's full grown, it brings forth the dark side. Just like I recently made that video talking about how fear of hair loss leads to the dark side. Well, this is another way of looking at it. That the actual problem is that we're being tempted by these weak thoughts. Now, I recently made a video about Homer Simpson, and someone had pointed out that despite how bald he was in his mid-30s or late 30s, and despite how overweight he was, he's still a very confident man. Now, perhaps you're not as bald as Homer Simpson, perhaps you're not as overweight as Homer Simpson, but imagine that we could still have that confidence anyway. Now, what I'm presenting to you is, it's a matter of what we do with those temptations. See, we're being tempted by these weak thoughts. Now, being tempted is not the problem. Those thoughts are going to come with the hair loss. Those thoughts come there. However, we're also tempted by strength as well. We're tempted by weakness, those thoughts that want to make us weaker. But we're also tempted by strong thoughts too. By thoughts of being confident anyway. By thoughts of realizing that we're not defined by our hair loss. And that's one of the reasons why I love making these videos every day. Because I know that some people are going to allow that temptation to think like a weak person to consume them. I know that. But I also know that some people will be tempted by confidence, by strong thoughts that I speak forth. I know that. And I love knowing that I can influence some. Now, we've got over 1,000 people subscribing to this channel now. And I get such joy out of knowing that I'm able to reach some of you effectively. But I have to remind myself as the YouTuber on this channel that especially as new people come on board, they bring with them the dark side. They bring with them the fact that they've given in to those weak thoughts. And ultimately those people can never be cured until they start giving over to the temptation of strong thoughts instead of weak thoughts. I really feel that so many people that are new to my channel, they get here and it's like they want me to be some kind of savior when it comes to giving them answers on their hair, because they're going bald much younger than I did. And I hate that for them, and I do have compassion, and I'm sorry, and I can't truly imagine what that's like, because that didn't happen to me at age 18, 17, 20, whatever it is. However, though, I feel that people put this certain magical power they give me, that they think that I'm going to provide some kind of solution that is suddenly going to make their hair start going back in. Oh yeah, this whole time there was a solution to this, and just watch my videos and then your hair goes back and that's it. You know, I think that certain people come here with that expectation, and I also believe the opposite is true. I think certain people come to my channel thinking that they cannot be saved, like Billy Corgan on the song butterfly with bullet wings. What is it? Butterfly with bullet. What is it? Butterfly. No, bullet with butterfly wings. And he says, I still believe that we cannot be saved. I think some people have that as well. They've given in to that temptation of weakness, and they believe that no matter what, because they're starting to lose their hair, that there's just no hope. That life is going to be doomed now. Now, granted, like I'm quick to point out, life will never be the same, and you do have to accept your new identity. There's no way getting around that. And I think that frustrates people, because I'm the one saying it. I'm the person speaking truth, saying, hey, there's not going to be some magic cure for your hair loss. And yes, you do have to accept your new identity. And no, I can't relate to you losing your hair so soon, because it didn't happen to me that soon. But still though, what are you expecting to get out of this channel? What are you expecting to get out of this daily dosage of information as we talk about hair loss? Ultimately, let me close by saying this. It's not as bad as you're making it to be. Nor is there as much hope as you might think there is either. So let me just unpack that, and I'm out of here on this video. It's not as bad as you think it is. I know it can be easy to imagine that life is just going to be awful now that you're losing your hair. And it's easy from that mindset of weakness to even blame me personally because I didn't go bald young enough. That's a temptation of weakness is what that is. So there's this mindset of despair that it's easy to be drawn in and tempted by, and then you remain in that darkness, in the dark side. That's when you're making it worse than it has to be. But it's also not as full of hope as you might want to come here believing it is either. Because again, I'm not here to provide you some magical cure that you're suddenly going to stop losing your hair and that's going to be okay. The reality of it is instead, it's a little bit of both of those things I just named. The only way is to recognize that ultimately you're probably not going to be able to change this. It's a matter of realizing that also your life is not over. Now, I made that video saying, welcome to the hair afterlife, for a reason. What I'm seeing is there's certain people who can't not accept their new identity. And that's the real issue. They're tempted by weakness. They want to remain there. And what I'm saying is, if you're going to stick with me and keep watching my videos, I am only going to further annoy you every day, and to the point you finally unsubscribe and call me a hypocrite, say I'm not practicing what I'm preaching because I've got too much hair and it really is that bad. That's what I see. I see these people who either just immerse themselves in hell, or these people who have these grandiose ideas that their hair is going to be saved. And it's neither. It's neither heaven nor hell. Instead, this is what you make it. Look, do you think I would choose this? I wouldn't choose this, but this is who I am now. And every day that you live in denial that this isn't what's happening to you, for whether it's a little bit better or a little bit worse, living in denial, wouldn't that make you a hypocrite? People have called me a hypocrite for having too much hair to be telling people not that they're making too much of a big deal about their hair loss, and that ultimately they have to adapt that new identity. People have called me a hypocrite for that. That subscribe and watch this channel. People have done that. I think the real hypocrisy is to deny the fact that you have to accept your new identity as someone who's losing their hair. You have to accept your new identity. Otherwise, you continue to live in denial, and you are the one not practicing what you're preaching. You are a living paradox. And life doesn't work that way. You're not going to get ahead. You're not going to succeed. You're not going to have the confidence that you need. What society actually needs from you, you're not going to be able to give them, because you are allowing yourself to live in that mindset of weakness. And look, I do not have a full head of hair, but I do have confidence, and I do have true hope, not false hope, that your hair is going to grow back. Nor do I provide doom and gloom for you, because life's not as bad as you're making it either, even if you are much younger than me. It's a matter of us choosing to be tempted, allowing ourselves to be tempted by hope and truth in reality, not weakness.